kick that off on the YouTube, on the inner tubes. All right. So that should be streaming. And Jeffrey Perkins asks, date for the next CAPS meeting. Do we know what that is, Jan?
Yes, the next CAPS meeting is February 8th, 2021, 6:30 p.m.
All right, I just responded to Jeff.
Okay.
So we are streaming live right now, so you may take it away whenever you feel ready, or I don't know if we're waiting for others or how this is.
Okay. Well, I know Alderman Tunney, Jessica Papp emailed me. She thought he might not be able to join in. He had 2 other meetings. Calvin should be joining in. I don't know where he's at. And Congressman Quigley was going to join in. So, well,
We can welcome all the people that are watching.
yeah, there's Mary
YouTube.
Davis.
We have several people on YouTube watching.
Okay, righty. Okay, good evening, Jan Summerall here. Thank you for joining in. I'm going to introduce a few board members that we have online here. Jan Summerall, President. York Chan, he is our tech guy here. John Rafkin, our Vice President. Liz Cohen, Tom James, and Mary Davis, our Secretary. And we're guessing our unknown is Don Franklin, a board member. So we're waiting for, we'll give it a few minutes and see if Congressman Quigley comes in. He wasn't on the agenda, but someone from his office emailed me this morning and asked if he could join in, and I was more than happy to send him the link. So alrighty. So, well, I'll just go ahead and go with the general update.
Jan, before we start, apparently Congressman Quigley is actually waiting to be let in. Would you? But I don't actually see him asking to come in at this moment. Do you have an email address for him that you can share with me?
The only thing I have is Mark Solik's email address. I don't have Congressman Quigley's.
Okay, let me.
It should be something with state, I think, in it, or something with gov.
Okay. So Jan, why don't you start, and then I will work on this with Mark Solak.
Okay, alrighty. There's not too much going on. Everything is relatively quiet. There's the main thing that we had on the agenda that we haven't been able to address. The December meeting and this meeting is the board elections. The way our bylaws are set up is that we're required to vote in person, and voting virtually does not count as voting in person. So what we've decided to do is we're just going to postpone the elections until we can meet in person. So that's the status of the election. So we'll just continue the board as is. And, you know, hopefully sooner rather than later, we'll be able to get back to the church and have our elections. The next BEAT meeting is February 8th, 6:30 p.m. It'll be a virtual meeting, and that'll be right before the SELVN board meeting. And just the general, you know, items on the list. The 19th Police District has a Twitter account which you can sign up for. It has daily postings, which includes alerts, general activities, and events. The Lakeview East Chamber of Commerce, that is they have a website which includes general information regarding events, local specials, restaurants, and stores that are open, as well as suggestions to help businesses. So that website is www.lakevieweast.com. So I urge you to sign up for that. And then Alderman Tunney's newsletter, we're all pretty much familiar with that. That comes out every Thursday. That is a good source for construction updates, things that are going on in the neighborhood, and then also Redefine Lakeshore Drive has all the particulars of the upcoming project, and that is www.northlakeshoredrive.org. And let's see, that's all that I have, and I see Mark is on.
Jan, can I just clarify something that you said with regard to the dates? You said that the next CAPS meeting was prior to the next SELVN board meeting, and
No,
I think
I'm
it's
sorry.
the general meeting that night, right?
General meeting, excuse me, pardon me, the general meeting. So,
Can you hear me? Sorry, just joined.
and Bob Clark just joined us. Mark,
I see Mark on here from Congressman Quigley's office.
and you know, York was trying to connect him.
I heard him describing his experiences the other day on television. Mike's experiences on Wednesday.
Okay. Have you found him, York?
I do not see Congressman Quigley waiting, so that's. I had asked Mark if he could email me an email address for Congressman Quigley, and I can invite him in. But I don't see him waiting or anything like that right now.
I hope he's not crouching under a table somewhere.
I see that Mark just left us also.
Yeah.
Did you guys, any of you open the email I sent about the scoreboard?
Yes.
Okay. Is somebody from Tom's office joining us tonight, Dan?
Tom is, he's got 2 other meetings. He was going to try and join in, but Calvin from his office should be joining in. But,
Okay, so there's somebody, I just wanted to bring that issue up.
Yeah. So I don't,
Is there anything else that we need to discuss while we're waiting for Mike Quigley?
No, things
We're covered.
no, things are pretty quiet.
Well, thank you to everybody out in YouTube for your patience.
Yes.
Are these 5 others showing? Are they those non-board members, or is on YouTube, or who are the 5? I see on my screen it says 5 others in addition to Jan.
On YouTube, there's at least 6 or 7, 6, 7, 8 people watching right now.
Oh, I see. That I just wondered if that's what that meant. Okay, great.
Yeah, Jen, can you pull up your email really fast and just forward to me anything from Mark?
Sure. Yeah, I have nothing here.
I mean, oddly, he managed to connect into the meet and was present for a little bit there.
Well, I guess, York, does anybody from that's joining us on YouTube have any questions or concerns? Any,
I
any
don't
business?
see anything there right now. I can ask again.
Sure.
We have Calvin coming in, and we have
Good.
Mark back.
Okay.
Good, good.
Did you talk to Mark before he was going to get you an address?
No, I just messaged him on YouTube. I have not heard anything from him. So, Mark, you're here with us. Can you hear us, Mark? And it keeps coming in and out for some reason. All right. Well, Calvin is here from Alderman Tunney's office.
Okay.
I don't see Calvin. Are you visible there? I don't see. I have it doing this on my tiny phone screen. So, should we see Calvin?
Yeah, he's here. Oh, he just left. Okay. Okay, we're batting 1,000 here tonight.
Aren't we? Yeah, this is
Calvin is back.
Calvin is back. Okay. Well, while we're waiting to get Congressman Quigley hooked up here, Calvin, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, I can go. Can everyone hear me all right? The audio's a little bad on my end, so.
Yeah, I hear you okay.
Okay, perfect. So, hi, everyone. Some of the updates from the 44th Ward this week are some of our local CPS schools are going into limited in-person learning right now. So that's mainly like pre-K programs, some diverse learners that need a lot of one-on-one attention. And because of that, parking restrictions near our local CPS schools are going to start being enforced again. So if you're by any of the public schools, live by any of them, particularly Agassiz, make sure that you're reading the local signs so you don't get ticketed. Additionally, we continue to get some more information about COVID vaccinations. The city is still in its first tier of vaccinations, so that's frontline healthcare workers and people in long-term care facilities. The city just announced that the next tier is going to be essential workers and those over 65, but because the city hasn't gotten a lot of doses, there hasn't been
Excuse me for interrupting for a second. York, I just sent you the email with Congressman Quigley's address.
Calvin, I'm very interested in what you're saying, so go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. I was just making sure she was done. So for this second tier, it's going to be essential workers and those over 65. Because the city has gotten so few doses, we don't know when vaccination of that second tier is going to start, but we're recommending that people be signed up for weekly newsletters so that when we get more information, we can tell everyone else. We're going to start sending out some more COVID specific emails so that way everyone's up to date. And if people have more specific questions about if you have pre-existing conditions or how that affects your standing on the COVID list, our recommendation is to reach out to your primary care physician, and the hospital should have more info about that. And then with the holiday season just finishing up, the aldermen and some of our staff members collected over 600 trees for recycling this weekend. So we really appreciate everyone who signed up for that and who helped make sure that their trees were in the right place so we could collect them. And finally, I'm not sure if Jan got a chance to go over this already, but there's a different beat meeting schedule this year. So instead of beat meetings covering several beats like they have in the past, now there's going to be a separate meeting for each beat. The hope with that being from CPD that people can come and talk about more specific local problems. The updated calendar for those beat meetings can be found both on our website and in our newsletter again. So those are the main updates from the 44th Ward.
Calvin, I had a question about going back to the vaccine for a quick moment. Some people seem to be talking about trying to make advance appointments at Walgreens and so on. That sounds like it's useless. We need to wait word on when this is available. I mean, believe it or not, I'm eligible by age for this next tier, which includes millions of people. So how are we just await word? Is that the idea?
I mean, that's all the guidance that our office has given. It's not like I'm sitting on any information I haven't been able to share. The big update is that the second tier will be people 65 and up and essential healthcare workers. But as of right now, there's no like centralized city list for appointments or anything like that. We continue to reach out to the department, the city's Department of Public Health, in order to try to get more information. But really, the best thing to do right now is make sure that you're up to date on the newsletter, and we'll share more information as we get it.
Hello.
I'll wait to hear Mike. Yeah.
Okay. In deference to Congressman Quigley's time, I'm going to interrupt you, Calvin, and let Congressman Quigley join. And I'm sure you've got some exciting stories to share. So thank you for coming tonight and joining in, and you've got the floor.
I can't see myself. Am I on otherwise?
Are you?
You've got a lovely
location?
T-shirt on with Chicago.
All right.
See you.
Sorry for the delay. It's good to see you all. More importantly, it's good to be seen after Wednesday. So, as I always say, that I've been going to these meetings since '82. Typically, they're a briefing. I don't know how I can call it a briefing when I have to tell you I was one of the people there when we lost the Capitol for the first time since the War of 1812. And tomorrow we're voting on the 25th Amendment. Wednesday we're voting to impeach the president again. So it's hardly a briefing, folks. That's a lifetime. So let me begin with the more normal. Mark's on the call, and we'll make sure everybody has our contact information. No matter how crazy things are, the most important thing we do on a day-to-day basis is take care of service needs, and we still want to do that through phone, email, text, whatever you want to do. And of course, we share an office in the back with Alderman Funny. And this communication matters so much. I look forward to seeing you back at the church one of these days. You know, it's easy to forget after what's happened in the last 5 or 6 days that we're in the middle of, again, the pandemic, which is far from over, and an economic downturn that's not going to be gone anytime soon. I'm afraid of a recession. So, we recognize that the latest COVID care packages is a down payment, folks. It's not nearly everything we need to do. And we know that. And so we still have to do that and an infrastructure package. And, you know, we should be having a conversation about the beginning of the Biden administration. Instead, I have to tell you that last Wednesday was not the insurrection. It was the first day of the insurrection. If you've read on the social media accounts, you know, they're saying that was the warm up. You know, there's three main groups that are talking about a massive insurgency versus the state capitals in the United States Capitol. I've been getting briefed all day. I'll get briefed later today and tomorrow when I get back. Unprecedented. Hard to imagine that it's necessary in this country, a security effort it's not paramilitary, it's military, is extraordinary. For those of us in the Capitol last Wednesday, it's far too late. And the tragic loss of life, which could have been avoided. But I will tell you, the fact that there wasn't more loss of life, hostage situations, and deaths of members of Congress is not because of planning. It was because of luck, happenstance. This will come out as time goes on. So if anyone's interested, I can tell you what happened that day. But right now, we're going back. And again, tomorrow voting on the 25th Amendment, going over the incredible security measures for the inauguration. And on the following day, voting on an impeachment based on the insurrection. I would also stress that this insurrection threatens us at our national airports, our lines of communication, our state capitals. I feel a little bit like I did after 9/11, and a little worse because there's a foreign threat. And, there's a Lynn Sweet article today, a column that you might want to read about my experience at the airport and Reagan coming back. Many members have been through that. You probably saw the videos with Lindsey Graham and Mitt Romney and now others. As I was going to the gate to come home Thursday, the bar restaurant had been taken over by a huge gathering celebrating their victory and storming the Capitol Wednesday and planning what they were going to do next with threats to the vice president and others. And about half of these idiots boarded my plane, which had to unboard, kick people off. So again, there's unprecedented security measures that are starting to be put in place just so members can get to and from the Capitol. Folks, it's tough. I had hoped that after November, there'd be hope that we'd be moving on. We will. We got to get past this first. We will. After we were in our precarious situation, we were in a lockdown in a so-called secured environment. I'll tell you, every member I heard, all they wanted to do was get back on the House floor after all that and risk whatever because they didn't want the mob to win. So, and from the House chambers, there were 11 Democrats on the floor. We were rotating 20 of us up in the balcony, and we got trapped up there. Most of them were calling their family to calm the family down, not the other way around, or press. So hard to imagine we're here. I do see a way out, but it's going to be longer and more dangerous than we imagined. Just one more challenge for us during the pandemic and the economic downturn. So I can't sugarcoat it. I know people have looked at that and there's some shock about what happened. I just want you to know we've got more threats coming up. Hi, Robert. I can't
Bob,
hear.
Bob, you're muted currently. You have to unmute.
Sorry, Mike, I think you escaped a lynch mob, and I'm glad to see you alive. I mean it.
Thank you. I feel okay. I keep being told that I need to keep checking on how I'm feeling. I get it. I don't know if it helps or hurts. There's just so much more to do. So I don't know that you can dwell on it, but I will say all the briefings I get subsequent tell me that we were just blind lucky, to say the least.
Quick question of a normal nature. With the Georgia elections, senatorial elections, do you think it enhances the likelihood of federal aid to state and local governments?
Yes. And an infrastructure package. Absolutely. And I'm hoping that the statements by people like Murkowski and others distancing themselves from the hardcore Trump base will be one of reconciliation. And, that the vice president wants to break every damn tie, that we'll have far more than 50 votes. And we're going to try. I know the Biden administration wants to make it possible. So you're right. It's a highlight. Look, there's a lot of measures that I supported that weren't in this COVID package, including helping small business more, state and local governments, the gyms, the fitness centers, direct aid to restaurants. And a massive infrastructure project across the country, probably $1.5 trillion to $2 trillion. We're probably $3 trillion down in this country in infrastructure debt that we have to work on.
Thanks.
And I was talking to, I'll just say this. I know it's a dreary report. I do remember talking to a freshman member as I was sort of talking about how the House works and what my experience was as a freshman when all this hell broke loose. And as we were moving along, trying to get to the other side out of line of sight, moving on our gas mask, which just sounds so strange to have to say. And, hearing gunshots and screams and sirens. I do remember trying to keep this member and others to stay calm. So I suppose humor isn't always the best way, but this one she said worked. I said, so aside from that, how was your first day in Congress? She laughed, and she and I spoke Saturday, I think it was. I will tell you, I was very proud of the members. They were brave, they were calm, and they were steadfast in their determination to get back on the House floor. Well, of course, we finished at 4 a.m, but we finished. There's going to be a meeting soon when we're in person, and we're talking good news and about the pandemic and the economy and our country as a whole. I know it, folks.
York, are there any questions from any of the people on YouTube?
I don't see anything in our stream.
Okay.
Great. Sorry for the delay in getting on. Watch the news. If we can help, let us know. I'm heading back tomorrow morning, and I hope to be back Thursday morning with a lot of this behind us. So we'll stay in touch. Thank you all. And
Okay, well, Thank you and be safe.
Yeah,
We'll be
safe
there.
travel, Mike. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
Sure. Take care. Bye, everybody. Bye now.
Thank you too, Mark.
Sure.
My pleasure.
Okay, if you, Mark, if you'd be kind enough, would you send me the contact information?
For Congressman Quigley?
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
thank you.
Okay, I'm going to get off now.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay.
Okay. Well, with that, back to you, Calvin, if you have anything else.
You know, just following up briefly on what the congressman was saying is I've been in really close contact with the 19th District Police this past week since what happened at the Capitol, and they've been really good at communicating with me, both if they hear that anything is going to be happening and if they hear that anything isn't. Currently, there's nothing that they're seeing that's ward specific. We've been getting a lot more updates from the city's emergency management department as well, saying that they're keeping abreast of everything that's happening in DC and that they're making sure like City Hall and every place like that is safe. So people are being vigilant, but nothing 44th Ward specific. So,
Calvin, I have a question for you, if I could.
yes.
It's possible Tom won't have a chance to get on tonight, so I'll throw this to you, and it may not be your area, but I just want you to check on it if you don't have a ready answer.
Mm-hmm.
I circulated an email to the board members today with a photograph of a very large professional scoreboard that's been put up on the turfed over soccer field that's being created.
Mm-hmm.
And we had an absolute assurance that there would be no games played there. So I wonder why they're putting up this big expensive scoreboard just for a practice field.
Yeah, I can check in on that. My understanding, and I'm not the point person on this, my understanding is it will be a practice field, not that there will be games going on, but
That was our understanding. I'm just wondering, you know, they've built concrete walks all the way around it. They're putting up bleachers, lights, now a scoreboard. It doesn't seem or feel like just a practice field. So I want some reassurance on that.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely look into that for you.
Thank you.
Well, Kevin, I have a question in regards to, do you know anything about why Tom took whatever position he took in regards to the CPS reopening plan? That was supported by nearly 40 aldermen, and I'm not sure where he currently stands on that.
Yeah, so in our last newsletter, there was a public statement that Tom put out about how, you know, a lot of the suburban school districts and a lot of the parochial schools in Chicago have opened and they have done it safely. CPS has put a lot of thought into how to open the school safely. I know specifically for the 44th Ward, there was ventilation checks on every public school in the ward to make sure that there was ventilation that met specific safety standards that the district put out. And there's been a lot of work put into making sure that there's enough personal protective equipment for both staff and students if they don't have masks that they can come with. So I can both send you that statement, but I think generally Tom's position is that missing in-person school is so detrimental to students learning that it really has to be a priority that we open schools safely, but as soon as possible. And he felt that CPS had put enough thought into that. So him and a couple other Northside aldermen do support opening up CPS schools right now. And currently it's limited in-person teaching. So I'm not the education in the person in the office, but my understanding is that it's pre-K programs, kindergarten programs, and then also diverse learners who need a lot of like closer one-on-one attention in order to be able to do their schoolwork and to learn. Like that's who they're starting with first. It's not like they're just taking all the kids and putting them back in the schools as one large bunch.
Right. I think with it, I would hope that he would actually maybe support helping CPS maybe tweak the plan and to help modify that to improve it. Because I think that everyone's goal is to try to get schools reopened, but we want to make sure that as much can be done as possible. And if it feels from a lot of people that, CPS is like a take it or leave it proposition with it at this point, and would hope that CPS can be encouraged to further enhance their plans to ensure that everyone feels more comfortable with it.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and I'll make sure to pass that along. I can also let you know for the 44th Ward specifically, for a lot of our local schools, they did a survey of parents beforehand to see if they felt comfortable sending their students back. In some wards, the parents didn't necessarily want to go back, but in our ward, it was around 70% for all the schools, was what we heard back. That was the percentage of parents who were willing to send their students back. But York, that's a good point, and I'll make sure to pass that along to the alderman.
Can I add on to that, please? As a parent of an elementary school student in our neighborhood, in what is, I believe, the second oldest building in CPS. So a little harder to update and get up to the safety levels. Let's see, I totally just lost my train of thought. I apologize for that. Is there going to be any follow-up with parents? Because I know a lot of people said, yes, I will send my child back. But then upon hearing what's actually going on in the schools and hearing from the teachers, have decided, no, I don't think I want to send my kid back. And so right now, if they're assuming that, what did you say, approximately 70% of parents are sending their kids back, I don't think that's accurate anymore. And so I'd be very interested in knowing, now that details have come out about how the school day will look, how many parents have changed their mind. Because in my circle of friends, I know I already have people who have said, nope, we're staying home.
Yeah, that's a good point. It looks like York just had a comment that it looks like some of the schools are resurveying their families. I don't know what that looks like. That certainly makes sense to me, like anecdotally. But I'll make sure to bring that up with Esme, who's the education person in our office, that you're hearing that in your circles, that some parents who initially had signed up aren't. And I know we should be getting the exact numbers per school of how many students decided to come back, like the official numbers from CPS. We should be getting those this week, so we'll know more then.
And that's on the number of students that came back this week. Right. No, York, you're absolutely right. Families opted in because they knew they could opt out at any time. And so I think that gave a false sense of the desire of and the confidence that families had in sending kids back.
Yeah, no, that certainly makes sense, and I'll make sure to pass that along. Those are concerns I personally hadn't heard before, but I think that'll be good for our office to know.
Thank you.
By the way, on the success reported in the Catholic schools, I can only say that I have a friend who teaches in that system. His school has been closed 2 or 3 times. As soon as they get a student going positive, they close for a couple of weeks and they reopen. So he certainly hasn't viewed it as an unmitigated success, even though they're technically open. They have closed at least twice because students turned up positive.
Yeah, and I think just as like a final point, besides the points I'm going to bring back to my office that people have brought up, is that it's a balancing act. It's the idea that students are losing a lot of in-person learning, and not only that, can be really severe like social impacts, mental health impacts are a lot of what we're hearing from students who aren't being able to be in school. The amount of like reporting around like child abuse and things like that, those numbers have cratered in large part because the mandatory reporters that are found in public schools aren't having contact with kids. So if there's problems, no one's seeing them because they're at home. But balancing health, COVID public health with these other things is really difficult. I know the alderman's put a lot of thought into this, but I'll make sure to bring back all of these comments from the meeting, of course.
Okay, we have any other questions? Anything else? York, any more questions or comments?
I don't see anything on YouTube.
Okay.
Fairly quiet tonight.
Okay. And you have a count of how many are on there for my for the minutes?
Yes.
Okay, we had 9. Okay.
May I ask another question?
Sure.
Sure, Calvin. And this, I don't know if this is going to be for you as much as maybe for somebody like Maureen, but just wondering if you have anything that you can share about how businesses are doing in the neighborhood, and there are a few that are coming in, but a lot more are leaving, and just any kind of updates on that?
Yeah, I don't have any specific updates. What I can let you know is that the Lakeview Chamber of Commerce, or just like a general business update, is that the Lakeview Chamber of Commerce and the Roscoe Village Chamber of Commerce are merging, which is something that we're looking forward to. Those two organizations merging is going to mean that they're going to have over 400 member businesses. And the Lakeview Chamber of Commerce is going to go from 3 staff to, I believe, like 8 staff now with those two. So we're hoping that there can be some really important synergies between the Lakeview Chamber of Commerce and Roscoe Village, because so many people shop between both neighborhoods already that finding a way to like cross-pollinate those business promotions could be one way to help those businesses get through the pandemic.
Will they be retaining their own offices, or will they be merging offices and losing some of the spaces they have?
Well,
I don't know.
To clarify, Lakeview East, Calvin, are you talking about Lakeview East Chamber of Commerce?
Or just Lakeview Chamber of Commerce? That's different, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I have it as the Lakeview Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, so that's not us. It's
Okay.
Yeah, but just like a general neighborhood-wide update.
Yeah, okay. All right, yeah, because Lakeview East has 2 offices. They're over on Broadway, and then they're also on, I want to say it's on
Sheffield?
Sheffield.
Southport,
It's either Sheffield or Southport. I think it's Sheffield, maybe. I'm not sure.
Calvin, is it not in your office?
It's Sheffield right across the street, essentially, from Alderman Tunney's office.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you just walk around the neighborhood, I mean, you can see that, some of the businesses are closed, and I think it was Avenue Tavern is closed now, and along Diversey, let's see, Francesca's is closed, and Ann Taylor is closed. The Bed Bath & Beyond is closed, so sad to say. Some of them are closed, but there's still some of them, there's still quite a few that are still, open and doing takeout. That's one of the reasons I mentioned earlier is the Lakeview East Chamber of Commerce webpage. They're very good at keeping updates of who's open and, what services there are. So that's a definite good source to go to help the neighborhood small businesses. So, okay, is there anything else? Okay, just a reminder, the next meeting is February 8th, 7 o'clock, and the CAPS meeting will be prior to that at 6:30. The CAPS meeting will be a virtual meeting through Zoom. So that information will be circulated prior to the meeting.
Jan, I just have a quick question for York. York, are you on still?
Yep, I'm here.
When on the Google group, when one signs on as tonight, if one clicks on the link that you provide, does that, I had a lot of trouble connecting, but eventually I did. But is it just a matter of waiting for that to happen, or does I clicked open and so on, and then went through different stages? Finally, I saw things on the screen, but it didn't just quickly happen when I hit the link. I just wondered if I did something wrong there.
There shouldn't be anything wrong. So it depends on what type of device you're using. I mean, we can talk about this post-meeting here. If Jan, let's let Jan maybe close the meeting. We can talk
I don't know
about
if
this.
anybody else had that problem, but I just...
Well, I'm not very sophisticated and I got on okay, so I don't know what that's worth. Okay, well, so that's it for the group here. So I'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for listening in. Thank you, Calvin, and give our best to Alderman Tunney. And again, the next general meeting is February 8th, 7 o'clock. The CAMPS meeting is prior to that at 6:30. Both will be virtual. And with that, thank you all. Be safe and be well and support the neighborhood.
Yeah, thank you, Jan. Thank you, Calvin.
Thank you, Jan.
And then the board's going to stay on here for a minute.
Okay.
All righty.